Hey y'all, I guess it'll be Wednesday. Is it? I think, yeah, I think it'll be Wednesday when this posts, or close to it anyway. Welcome to hour 9 of the Pit. Huckleberry is a hero, and Dana gets sucker punched. Spoiler alert, y'all. But if you're watching this, like, anyway. Um, so we start with the cleanup of Amber's trauma room. Everyone tries to self-soothe. Heather tells Dana about her miscarriage. They have Amber's debrief in the trauma room, and Dana holds Heather's hand the entire time. It's very sweet. Um, Robbie gives an emotional speech about how the kids are the hardest to get over, but the speech is interrupted by MDMA trauma coming in and a fight that has broken out in the waiting room. On the way to the melee, Robbie asks Dana what's going on with Heather. Dana doesn't give up squat and roasts Robbie for his trouble. In the waiting room, an anti-masker has punched a patient's mother. Dana yells at everyone. They take the women involved in the fight and Earl, who was injured in the fight, back, and Doug Driscoll, Mr. I'm pissed off about everything, tries to sneak back. When Dana stops him, he goes off. Gives Mateo some racist shit. The masker is also an anti-vaxxer and has the tooth of the woman she punched embedded in her hand. She's going to need surgery to keep it from becoming infected. Langdon sends Mel for a break during his interaction with the patient, who you can tell Mel's getting overstimulated. Um, so as Langdon's telling the woman that she's going to need surgery and stuff, he tells her that he wants to respect her wishes. So would he like for her to have the surgeons not wear any masks? And she opts for masks, but I'm like, ah! Let's see here. Where we go? As the MDMA OD is coming in, that Santos, Langdon, and Robbie all take, Dana intercepts Piper's boss, who is looking for her. McKay tries to get through to Piper. It's like, yo, you're being trafficked. We're here to help. But she fails. She does manage to get her to take a pen that has a hotline phone number hidden inside. We also find out at this point about the street team, which is a group of volunteer doctors and nurses and social workers and stuff that go out and help like at-risk people in the community, the unhoused and stuff like that. And then we go back to the OD trauma. They are submerging her in ice to bring her body temp down. Nothing they're doing is working. They keep pushing more and more meds. Nothing is working. And Langdo rides Santos hard during the entire trauma. The Kraken returns. A nurse who's got mad googly eyes for Huckleberry gives him a new set of scrubs that fit, and let him know that this is a bribe because the Kraken would like to see him. The nurse spots the rat and bolts. We go back to the OD trauma. Dana lets Robbie know that a double trauma is coming in, so he goes to tend to that. On the way, Teresa intercepts him, lets him know that she talked to Psych, but hasn't heard from David, her son, yet. And McKay clocks this interaction. Enter Walter and Crosby. Walter, who got hit by a car while walking his dog Crosby, comes in. They take Crosby to the Donahue takes Crosby to the lounge, and Langdon tends to Walter, the human patient. Paula, the driver who hit them, comes in right behind them. She's very altered. They really don't have a clue what's going on with her. We go back to Piper, and McKay's still trying to get Piper to stay, and she's really spiraling about it. Dana kind of suggests she talks to Kiara, I think mostly to get her the fuck out of her face. We go back to Langdon, who's working on Walter, and Walter's just mostly worried about Crosby, his dog. Then we go back to Paula in the trauma room, the driver. They find out she's 10 days postpartum, and the McKay had treated her earlier that day for a UTI. As Heather and Robbie are talking after they take her to CT, Robbie notices the rat is on the loose in the trauma room, and he tries to distract Heather by dancing. He's like, and it fails miserably, and Heather freaks out and bolts. Uh, Mr. Tribbiani, please hush. All right, we go back to the MDMA and OD. Santos has either seen or experienced the symptoms and treatment for this before, and she treats her for low sodium before her and Mohan treat her for low sodium before they talk to Langdon. When he storms into the room, Santos gives Mohan credit for the save because she thinks he'll give less smoke, but he still berates Santos. He lays into her like Benton never yelled at Carter. Robbie walks in on this, corrects him, checks him, and sends him to check on Mel. We go back to the Kraken. Huckleberry goes in to meet the Kraken in full hazmat gear, flirts with the nurse, and does actually listen to his patient. Go back to Mel. Mel's in the break room petting Crosby. Langdon checks in on her, gives her a little pep talk, tells her about Walter and takes her to Walter to remove all the gravel from his road rash and calls it a Zen exercise. We go to Earl, who was injured in the anti-vaxxer melee, and Victoria and Mateo are patching him up. And while they're doing this, Victoria hits on Mateo and fails embarrassingly. Dana rescues her to take her out to the waiting room, and Victoria is talking about she's just literally ready to pass away from the embarrassment. And she talks about how her family took her to Utah and how the altitude made her feel all crazy. And she's like, Mateo's my human Utah. And Dana's like, girl, I've had some of those in the past. It's good. So they're on their way to the waiting room, and Driscoll goes off on the desk clerk. Dana and Victoria tell them, look, they're just waiting for some test results. He's still pissed he hasn't seen an actual doctor yet, but an actual doctor can't tell him shit till they got test results. Langdon offers him an AMA form or a CYA form, however you want to put it. And he takes the form but sits back down in the chairs. Paula, the driver, crashes. Santos and Mohan are in the aftermaths of their trauma, and they're talking about Langdon being a dick. And Mohan tells her, because Santos is like, well, Langdon doesn't think I deserve here. And Mohan tells her, well, I think he's fucking wrong. Fuck that motherfucker. We go back to Paula. She actually has an infection in her uterus that McKay missed earlier in the day. She diagnosed her with a UTI, but she didn't do a pelvic. And we talk about why that is, or why they think that is later. Kraken and Huckleberry, they talk. Huckleberry finds out about the street team while talking to the Kraken. The nurse went and got Kiara for him, and he actually volunteers for the street team. So he's feeling himself, right? We go back to Paula. They find the infection in her uterus. And then Heather talks to McKay about how she failed to do the pelvic, and that maybe that was because of some fat phobia, which I certainly have personally experienced when getting medical treatment. They don't take you as seriously. They don't think your pain is real. They don't believe your symptoms. It is hard to get someone who actually listens to you. All right. And then we go back to Huckleberry. as Donahue is taking Crosby to Walter, and they're like, "Hey, everybody, just tell everybody he's an emotional support animal." Crosby spots the rat, gets loose, grabs the rat, and is killing the rat. Huckleberry grabs a blanket, covers them both with the blanket, gets the rat away from Crosby, who runs to Walter, and then snaps the rat's neck. Everybody applauds. Huckleberry takes the bow. Very good. All right. Dana sneaks out for a smoke, and while she's smoking, that motherfucker Driscoll sucker punches her. She falls to the ground. On the ground, he tosses his AMA for him at her feet, or at her, kind of. And that's it. That's the end of the episode. So that was episode 9 of The Pit. I'm hoping to at least get one more out this week. We'll see how it goes. Um, what are y'all watching? What are y'all obsessed with? I was thinking I might do lives or something. I don't know. I don't really watch anything that needs to be enjoyed live, but I think I will like when Love Island starts, because that's Peacock, not Bravo. Anyway, take care, y'all. Have a good one. Bye.